How's the machine coming?
When I've got this machine finished, every time we cast a vote here, it will automatically be registered in every voting machine in the city.
I grew up as a young man, spent a lot of time in the African American church in my state. We have the 8th largest black population in America, in Delaware, and as a percent of population. And that's, as a kid, I got started in the civil rights movement and spent a lot of time organizing in the black church and then going out and trying to do our thing. When it's a whole 100 years ago, but I was a senior in high school, I wanted to get more involved, but I didn't know any black people. No, I really didn't. You didn't know any white people either. That's the truth. Spent a lot of time organizing in the black church and then going out and trying to do our thing. But I didn't know any black people. No!
When I was 17 years old, like many of you, I participated in sit-ins to desegregate the restaurants and movie houses of Wilmington, Delaware. I came out of the civil rights movement. I was one of those guys that sat in and marched and all that stuff. I marched in the civil rights movement. I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes.
And the New York Times reports, quote, more than once, advisors had gently reminded Mr. Biden of the problem with this formulation. He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement, and more than once, Mr. Biden assured them that he understood, kept telling the story anyway. That is really, really weird.
But I got my education, Reverend Doc, in the black church. Not a joke. Because when we used to get organized on Sundays to go out and desegregate movie theaters and things like that, we'd do it through the black church. But I didn't know any black people. I got my education, for real, in the black church. And that's not hyperbole, it's a fact.
During the 60s, I was, in fact, very concerned about the civil rights movement. I was not an activist. I worked at an all-black swimming pool. I was involved, but I was not out marching. I was not down in Selma. I was not anywhere else.
I spent my whole life fighting for civil rights, voting rights, social justice, economic justice.
I was not an activist.
I was no big shakes, Reverend, in the civil rights movement. Just a kid. I got involved in desegregated movie theaters, coming out of black churches on Sundays, figuring how we were going to move. But I didn't know any black people. No, I really didn't. That's the truth. A thing when I sat in black churches in the east side of Wilmington getting ready to go out and desegregate movie theaters in Delaware. But I didn't know any black people. No, I really didn't. That's the truth.
President Biden stopped in Puerto Rico today to survey the damage left behind by Hurricane Ian. But little did we know that Joe Biden apparently was raised as a Puerto Rican.
I come from the little state of Delaware. But we have a very, in relative terms, large Puerto Rican population in Delaware.
And as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio.
Yeah, I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community at home, politically. And so we came here for a long time, both for business and pleasure.
Slowpoke is pretty slow downstairs in the feet, but he's pretty fast upstairs in the cabeza.
Joseph Biden admitted today that he committed plagiarism when he was in law school. He said it was a mistake, but that it was unintentional.
He quoted 5 pages of someone else's work without proper citation.
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
He was given an F.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
Joe Biden is a dummy.
Plagiarism at law school, plagiarism on the stump.
The great communicator. Strike that. The great imitator.
You big dummy.
When he's not plagiarizing, he's lying about himself, and he's been doing it forever.
I walked in when I was 21, and I got arrested. It was a Saturday. I walked in the back. All of a sudden, I found myself in the chamber, and I was stunned. I walked up, sat down, the presiding officer's seat. Guy grabbed me by the shoulder, said, "You're under arrest." Literally 9 years later, as I walked onto the Senate floor through the same door, that same guy, cop, said to me, "Senator, you remember me?" And I said, "Geez, I don't." He said, "I arrested you 9 years ago."
Wow. How about
he
that?
Said, "Welcome back."
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I feel this hand on my shoulder, and the Capitol policeman picks me up and spins me and said, "What are you doing?" And after a few moments, he realized I was just a dumbstruck kid and didn't arrest me or anything.
Guy grabbed me by the shoulder, said, "You're under arrest."
Dumbstruck kid and didn't arrest me or anything. And a police officer grabbed me, arrested me, and took me downstairs. When they realized I was just a starstruck kid, they didn't book me or anything. They told me I wasn't allowed to do that. 8 years later, I was a U.S. Senator. I walked in the same door, and a cop grabbed me in the shoulder, and he said, "You can't go there, sir." And then he turned around and got a big grin on his face. He said, "Hope you appreciate the humor, Senator. I arrested you 8 years ago."
Bullshit.
Said, "You're under arrest." Literally 9 years later.
"Senator, I arrested you 8 years ago."
He said, "I arrested you 9 years ago."
Wow. How about
he
that?
Said, "Welcome back."
Yeah.
It turns out Biden wasn't actually arrested in the Senate. Someone in authority once asked him a question, which honestly is pretty much the same thing.
And he's been doing it forever. I just pulled this up. It's so easy to find. He was arrested in South Africa. Don't forget that.
I came back from South Africa trying to see Nelson Mandela and getting arrested for trying to see him on Robben Island. He was in prison.
I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robben Island.
But when I said arrested, I meant I was not able to move. Cops, upper counters would not let me go with them, made me stay where I was. I guess I wasn't arrested, I was stopped. I was not able to move where I wanted to go.
Oh, he didn't arrest me or anything. Once again, not arrested.
I guess the question is, were you confused, or were you just trying to embellish a story?
No, I guess I should have said I was detained.
I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador. And I haven't had a house burned down with my wife in it. She got out safely, God willing. But having a significant portion of it burned, I can tell 10 minutes makes a hell of a difference.
The lies from lying about getting arrested for protesting for civil rights to his academic record at law school to driving a semi-truck.
Anyway,
and if we don't
drive an 18-wheeler, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish
That's
I
awesome.
got to.
Claiming his house burned down with his wife in it. Now Biden is a Puerto Rican. Why does he keep lying about stuff like this, Jack? Does he think that Americans are that stupid that we don't know how to fact check him?
Of course he does. He's just so used to race baiting and being able to say whatever he wants to appeal to whomever. If I spoke like that, they'd lock me up.
Where the action is, that's where you're going to find Joe Biden.
Joe Biden has been at this for 50 years. He's been in politics for 50 years. He's been running his mouth for 50 years. He's been running for president for most of that time, and he's really bad at it. He's terrible at it. He doesn't know whether he drove an 18-wheeler. The White House said, well, it was a school bus. If the guy doesn't know the difference between driving an 18-wheeler and a school bus, I mean, how would you let this guy be in charge of anything? Joe Biden is not playing with a full deck. This is not somebody you can have as your president. That's the truth.
Enough is enough is enough. It has to stop.
And it's an embarrassment.
Arrested me, took me downstairs. Wait, did he say arrested?
Last time I was here, I want to make clear to the press, I didn't get arrested, but I almost did, and was immediately accosted by a cop who arrested me. Men weren't allowed anywhere near a woman's dorm. And I got escorted out very quickly by an Athens policeman. But so, true story, unfortunately.
He blames everything on Trump that he doesn't think is good, just like Obama blamed everything on Bush.
Been in and out of Afghanistan and Iraq 28 times. I've been in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan over 29 times. I've been in and out of Afghanistan and Iraq over 30 times.
He said, and this is he said it on the word of a Biden, that he pinned a silver star on a Navy captain in Kunar province, but the captain didn't want it.
He gave a bronze star to a corporal who looked to me to be about 25 years old, who had pulled a badly wounded gunner to safety, returning fire to repel the enemy, and then keeping his buddy alive until medevac arrived.
Who had pulled
someone out of a burning Humvee, risking his life. One of his buddies got shot, fell down a ravine about 60 feet. Someone out of a burning Humvee. This guy climbed down a ravine, carried this guy up on his back under fire. He had gone down a ravine to rescue one of his men who had been shot, brought him back under hail of gunfire, was wounded, but the young man died. And the general wanted me to pin the silver star on him. And when I went to pin it on him in front of the entire brigade, and I went to pin the silver star with General Rodriguez, pin the silver star on his chest, I got up there and stand and said, God's truth, my word is abiding. He stood at attention. I went to pin him. I said, sir, I don't want the damn thing. He stood at me, looked at me, and said, sir, I don't want the medal. I don't want the medal. I don't want it, sir. He died. He died. I don't deserve it. Do not pin it on me, sir. Please, sir. Do not do that. He died. He died. He died, Mr. Vice President. I don't want the medal.
None of that, not one sentence in that was true. And he also said he got his start at a historical black college or university, Delaware State. He didn't go there.
Yeah, well,
the man is a serial liar about himself, and the press just kind of laughs along with him.
We got to start questioning the folks that are around him, including his wife. To see a man like that get up and say the things that come out of his mouth and then go home with him and not and allow that to happen, there's a problem with that. I pray for our president. He needs deep prayer because right now he is spiritually harming our nation. And something has to be done about it.
I couldn't agree more.
But the mainstream media has just seen fit to give him a total pass. They don't hold him to account when he makes up all these lies about himself. They kind of just chuckle. They'll note it maybe in passing once and then move on to the next pro-Biden story that they write. This is the problem, too. Why do they have to protect and cover for him?
Joe never got more than 1%, except Obama took him off the trash heap.
I got to admit to you, I'd go to my Catholic Mass at 7:30 first, and then I'd show up in the black church. But I didn't know any black people.
Yeah, I'm, glad he's in Puerto Rico and staying out of Florida for now. We may have been hit by a nearly Cat 5 hurricane, but we got a Cat 10 governor at the reins right now. He's a military commander. He's running this show real well. And, someone needs to tell Joe, we don't have any ice cream or little kids he can sniff here in Florida. We're just trying to get, clean water and fuel and electricity. So, I think we should rename our state Ukraine, and then maybe they'll send a little more money down here.
Take out the papers and the trash. Oh, you don't get no spending cash. If you don't scrub that kitchen floor, you ain't gon' rock and roll no more. Yakety yak.
Don't talk back.
Just finish cleaning up your room.
I was gonna clean my room until I got high. I was gonna get up and find the broom, but then I got high. My room is still messed up, and I know why. Why, man? Because I got high. Yeah. Because I got high. Yeah. Because I got high.
Yakety yak.
Don't talk back.